10 years ago, in 2014, in the small town of Maynard, Massachusetts, a fantasy football league was born that would change fantasy sports as we know it. Rick Sintola, a true fantasy sports degenerate, formed the first ever Maynard Hooligans Fantasy Football League, a league designed for those with a desire to challenge themselves and compete with their friends, all while being very, very inappropriate. This league would start as a 10-team, two-quarterback league with deep rosters and pay-per-view porno team names. It was an incredibly fun and competitive league. 10 Maynard douchebags, trash-talking and trade-raping each other, all in the pursuit of becoming a fantasy football champion. But none of them at that time had a clue just how legendary this league would become. Over the years, this league would go on to become the greatest fantasy league in the world. The evolution started small. First, simply expanding to 12 teams in year 2, so that other Maynard assholes could be a part of this hilarious league. But next was the changing the league format to what is now called Superflex. At that time, very few leagues operated this way. Most didn't even know it was possible to have a Superflex league. Now, Superflex is one of the more popular formats of fantasy football. Those hooligans didn't know, but they were far ahead of their time. Since then, this league has added fab dollars and next day trades. It started using NASCAR to determine the draft selection order. Yearly events are on the calendar, such as golf tournaments and the infamous trade party, where they do nothing but drink, smoke, and trade their fantasy players until their roster is unrecognizable. This league now has weekly prizes, season-long prizes, playoff prizes, and even a survivor competition. They added a game against the league median, and they have separate rules for their losers bracket. They even have a rule that mandates that each year the buy-in goes up by $10, just so they are forced to change things up year after year. Honestly, we'd be here all damn day if we went through all the changes they've made. I mean, this fucking league even has its own podcast. That's how ridiculous it has become. But these hooligans don't just play for fun. They play to win. And each year, only one team can be crowned champion. Only one team can make all the right moves to not only make the playoffs, but win them and take home the trophy and all the money that goes with it. And in 2023, Joe Giovanni Viscarillo would completely rewrite his legacy in pursuit of a championship. Joe was actually one of the original 10 members of the Maynard Hooligans League. But he probably wouldn't want you to remember that, given his piss-poor performance. In the league's inaugural season, Joe's team, Mike in Brazil, was granted the first overall draft pick. And what did he do with that privilege? He built a team that would ultimately score the fewest points in the league and end up with a 3-11 record, last place. Joe would be the first person ever to come in dead last for the Hooligans League. And it probably had to do with him drafting a tight end with the first pick in the 3rd round and his defense with the first pick of the 7th round. But he didn't even stop there. He leaned heavily into defense, drafting a second defense in the 12th round. This team was bad, even with owning the best draft pick possible. And to make matters worse, he only made 5 roster transactions the whole season. Pathetic. And this would go on to be Joe's one and only season in the Maynard Hooligans League. Or would it? Joe would take a 5-year hiatus before joining the league in 2020. Would his luck change? No, it would not. In his first 3 seasons back, Joe did not make the playoffs one time, landing in 8th, 9th, and 10th place. Pathetic. But he must have at least improved his draft strategy, right? No, definitely not. In 2020, he drafted a tight end with the 14th pick, a kicker in the 8th round, and his defense in the 10th round, all before drafting his second quarterback. Who were his QBs, you ask? Gardner Minshew and Mitch Trubisky. But it gets even worse. He would go on to draft a second and third tight end, a backup defense, and a backup kicker. Joe has not only not learned, he's gotten worse. But in 2021, he finally starts to make adjustments, drafting a quarterback in the 4th and 8th rounds. But that still wasn't enough. In 2022, his quarterbacks were Baker Mayfield in the 8th round and Marcus Mariota in the 10th. Still going with the late quarterback strategy, but at least he's now drafting them before his kickers and defense this year. So he's learning, but still 3 miserable, embarrassing seasons to kick off Joe's return to the Hooligans League. But 2023 was a new year, and with that new year came a new Joe. Despite the pathetic 4 seasons Joe has had up until that point, he was confident. He proclaimed that he was taking this season seriously, and he was not lying. He started off with a bang, drafting Jalen Hurts 3rd overall. Then, bang, Brock Purdy with his 7th round pick. Bang, bang. For the first time ever, Joe V drafted a 3rd quarterback, and he did it in the 10th round. And this all was before drafting a kicker, tight end, or defense. This boy was different in 2023. And when the draft was over, Joe wasn't done. He makes his first player transaction of the year, second move out of the entire league, picking up Kyron Williams as a free agent. Bang! Then trades Calvin Ridley for Adam Thielen. Everyone doubted him, but holy shit, he can't miss. Lastly, he trades Adam Thielen, the same Adam Thielen, and Kenneth Walker for Keenan Allen right before those two fall off a cliff. Joe V cannot be stopped, and he wouldn't be. Joe, King Joffrey's pencil dick, would go on to finish the regular season in 3rd place before walking away with the championship trophy. 1, he came in dead last. In year 10, he left the league dead to rest and became, for the first time ever, a Hooligans League champion.
Hooligans! We back. We are back. We are back. Holy shit, we are back. It has been a while. I can't lie. I am not prepared for fantasy whatsoever. I don't know who's been traded or signed by who. I don't know when people are getting drafted. I don't know the rookies. I don't know any of it. But we still got time for that. But I am ready to be back in the league. I am ready for the group chat to be going. I am ready for ideas to be thrown out there. I'm ready for all that. I just got to do my draft prep because I know nothing. But there's a few guys in our league who are like that every year. Some of them have won. So I guess that shouldn't worry me too much. But I'm just excited to be back, y'all. Hooligans League podcast is back, which means the season is about to begin, and it's going to be a good one. It is certainly going to be a good one. We are officially in our second decade of the league. Think about that. That is crazy. We are in year 11. So you know it's going to be a good year. This episode will not be very long. That tribute to last season, that tribute to the league, to Jovi. Congrats, Jovi. That tribute, honestly, was way more work that I put into that than the rest of this episode because it's still early. We don't need to. So this will be pretty quick. We do have a little bit of league business that we have to discuss, but honestly, we've done a lot over the past 2 seasons, a lot of changes, a lot of improvements. So this summer should be pretty light. But I often underestimate how much we do and how long things will take. So I could be wrong, but I promise that this episode at least will be pretty quick from here on out. So let's not waste any more time. Let's jump in. Hooligans League podcast, season premiere. Let's go.
Best in the business when it comes to a quarterback sneak. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
That's how it goes. Hooligans, we back. I'm pretty excited. If you can't tell, I got some new toys. Yeah. We back. Yeah.
I'm not even playing around. Like, I have a lot of new toys. Like, I've been messing around in the off season, and so you're gonna have to deal with me.
As I try these out. A little experimental at the moment, but since we have completed a full decade of the league, I figured it was time to step it up even more than we have.
So be prepared for me to be absolutely obnoxious, especially in the next few episodes as I play with these.
Okay. So, sorry. But I'm not. So yeah, let's actually get into it.
Every time.
Oh, you gotta give him that huck.
Oh.
Huck.
Yeah, I told you I was going to be ridiculous. Okay, let's go back to the regular mic.
But yeah, we're going to have fun this year, y'all. We are going to have fun. It is the 11th season of the Hooligans League. Third season of the podcast. Second or third season since we've had third season, I think, since we've had real big money, maybe season 4. So yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. But the rest of this podcast, I promised, was going to be pretty quick. So let me not make sure I don't lie to you in episode 1. So first order of business, new year, new look. New year, new look, new logo, along with trying to fuck around with different effects and like other shit. We got a new logo, y'all, and we'll see how long this lasts. I just wanted something different from what we had with that really like bootleg version of a logo I made with just taking a cartoon Tom and putting some words around it. Now we got something we can be proud of. We can throw it on shirts, hats, we can put it on whatever we want. And so some of you already know, I've already made some hats. Some of you already have some hats, and there will be more swag coming. I sent this logo out. I don't know what you would use it for, but if you don't have it and need it, just let me know. I'll send it to you. So let's talk about what we got to do this summer. So summer objectives, there's not many things that we absolutely need to complete. It's really just the same shit we do every year, and there should not be any extra stuff this year. I don't think we're not going to have a massive overall to our payout structure. I doubt there won't be a platform change that we're making this year. I don't imagine we'll have any major rule changes that require like people to understand exactly what they're voting on, like the league median. Yeah, I think it'll just be the standard shit. So the major things will be confirming the draft lottery. How are we going to figure out our draft order? Do that every year. We're going to have to do it again. And that'll be the first order of business that we'll figure out. Second, will be scheduling the draft. And this will actually probably happen simultaneously with figuring out the draft lottery. We need to figure out what date we are drafting on. And more of y'all are having kids. More of y'all are having second kids. So we need to figure this out because it's harder to schedule these days. So those two things will be the first things we tackle this summer. And ideally we could figure it out in like a week. That would be great. But hopefully by the next time I do a podcast, which won't be weekly during the summer, not even close, we should have all that figured out. And then the last thing will just be league changes, rules, prizes, all of that. We'll review everything just to make sure we're all on the same page, but we'll have to figure out what we're changing. Pretty simple. So let's first talk about the draft lottery a little bit. So as you all know, we've been doing this several years now. We've done the Coke Zero 400 NASCAR event. That date is Saturday, August 24th. So if we want to just run it back, either for convenience sake or just because it's fun and it's a reason to actually watch some NASCAR racing, it's the only time I do it. So I like it, but again, I'm going to keep every year. I'll throw it out there. Do we want to change it out? So if you have any ideas, let us know. I'm not going to, do any effort in changing this because I'm cool with this being the event we do. But if you have ideas, throw it out there. I'm happy to switch if there is something that you all like a lot. So if we get any good ideas and it seems like there might be some momentum with them, we'll throw it up for a vote and we'll see if we should change. But so think on this, see if you got anything that would be fun. And if not, it'll be August 24th. I know at some point in the year, we were talking about like trying to bump this up a little sooner. And so this will be a couple weeks before the draft. So that would be the only reason to me why like someone might want to actually think through an option for it, because this will be 2 weeks before the draft, probably. So if you wanted more time to prep with your actual draft order, we would need to find a different event. But I'm not sweating it. I'll leave that up to y'all. If you want to change it, think of something better. draft. So the season opener, the NFL season opener, is Thursday, September 5th. So what is that? Less than 2 months away. We're officially less than 2 months away, like 7 weeks away. So ideally, we will draft that week. That way, we don't have to worry about any injuries at all. So the current target dates right now are these dates below. So Monday, September 4th, Tuesday, September 5th. Ooh, those dates are wrong. Sorry, I'll update this. You won't be seeing what I'm seeing right now. Monday, September 2nd, Tuesday, September 3rd, Wednesday, September 4th. Those will be the 3 days that we'll be targeting. So look at your calendar, see if you're available to draft those days after work, and we will go there. And actually, hold on. That's not like Labor Day, is it? Because that'll probably make things harder. Yep, this shows how much prep I did. Labor Day. Yeah, so that's forgot that's Labor Day. So probably not Labor Day, but maybe Labor Day works for y'all. So the target days will probably be more the Tuesday and the Wednesday. But what I'll do now that the season has started, I'll start to use the Sleeper app again, and I'll put a couple survey questions in there. Are you available to draft on these days? Put yes, no, not, I don't know. And if one of these 3 days is good, we're just going to lock that in now. If we can't find one of these days that works for everyone, then we will have to start fucking around with a calendar and putting in a bunch of different dates that you can do. Ideally, we can avoid that because we can just land on one of these 3 days. So we're starting here. If we strike out, then we'll go to something that's a little bit more comprehensive. So look at the calendar. Prepare to block some time for a draft, and we'll go from there. Last of all is the league changes. I'm not going to talk about this much at all because we will not be focusing on this until we figure out our draft shit. But I expect we'll have some changes. One thing that I know that I will be changing, unless there's pushback, but there won't be, for rules is the times of certain things. So since we now have a member who does not live on the East Coast, we have to adjust timing of transactions a little bit to account for that. So the trade deadline, like timing each day when you have to make a trade in for it to go through the next day, will no longer be midnight. I probably won't do transactions first thing in the morning. I'll probably do it at noon instead. That way, everyone's awake and has the same amount of time to make adjustments. So there'll definitely be some changes. But if you have other changes you'd like to see made, there will be a time period where we are throwing ideas out there and voting. Prizes and payouts, another thing that will guaranteed to change. The buy-in's changing because last year we agreed to increase it by $10 every year instead of having a bunch of time go by and then we bump it up. So there will be 10 times 12 people, $120 more in the pot this year. So we'll have to figure out what to do with that. So prizes and payouts will certainly change. Punishments. This is one that is not a guarantee that there will be any changes, but happy to explore them. I'm a big fan of punishments. And I know Silverman threw out a great one that he saw where there was like the press conference for the worst team of the week, and they had to answer a bunch of questions and send a video of it. I thought that was a great idea, but there's other punishments that we could be adding as well. So start to think about this. Rule changes, prizes, payouts, punishments, really anything. Once we figure out our draft shit, I'll open up a window for people to submit ideas. If any of those ideas gets a lot of traction, either people talking about them or people doing like emojis in the Sleeper app, then that will source up the most popular ones we need to explore, and then we'll put it up for a vote and we'll put them into place. I'll obviously think about these at length as well, and I'll probably have some proposals, but nothing to do here yet. just think about this. How do you want to change the league? Do you care? If not, then just sit back and worry about whatever the fuck you need to worry about. For those that have ideas, chew on them, write them down, and there will be a time where I will ask for you to share them. But we're definitely a couple weeks away from that at least. So that's basically it. So your homework. To recap, let me recap this. This is your homework. Now that the preseason has officially begun, there are 4 things of homework for you. Okay? 1, get back on Sleeper. If you're someone who like deletes your fantasy app and you shut down and don't think about it in between the league, then download the app. I will be using it. I will be renewing the league first thing tomorrow morning. And that just made me think I forgot something in here. Another thing of business that we need to do, which we'll probably do after we figure out the draft order, before we figure out the league changes. We got to figure out our league theme. What are our team names going to be this year? So every year we switch it up. So think of ideas. And yeah, we can definitely be more aggressive this year than we were last year. Just what I don't want is like pictures of dicks next to my face in the podcast. So as long as, I can put graphics up here that would not get me absolutely embarrassed if someone at work found this, we're good. So we were a little bit on the safer side last year. We can get a little bit more risque this year. But no like dicks and tits on my face or around my face. But yeah, so that'll be another thing. But more importantly, get on the app because I'm going to start using it again. Second will be once you're on the app, answer the surveys for the draft date. First week of September, we're going to have to figure out which of those days we can do, if we can. So please just fill it out right away. It makes things much easier. Then if you have ideas for the draft lottery, throw those in there. If not, we're going to stick with the Coke 0400 on Saturday, August 24th. That's when we'll figure out our draft order. 2 weeks later, we'll draft. And start thinking about the league changes and the theme of the league. I guess I'll add that here. There will be a whole podcast dedicated to that and a lot of group chat. So do these 4 things. Pretty straightforward. And I think that is everything. So hooligans, get ready. Don't do any draft prep and start thinking about what you're going to do to try to beat Joe V this year, because he is the reigning champ. That's all I got. This is the season premiere of the Hooligans League podcast. Peace out.
Oh, you gotta give him that hunk. Spit all that night. Oh, you gotta give him that hunk. Spit all that night. 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 Spit all that night.
I like these toys.
Spit all that night.
Yeah, I like these toys. Peace out.